Abiy Ahmed is a killer. Abiy Ahmed is a killer. Stop the war on Tigray. Stop the war on Tigray. There is no excuse for human rights abuse. 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 Down, down, Abiy.
Down, down, Abiy.
Down, down, Abiy.
Down, down, Abiy.
Abiy is unelected.
Abiy is unelected.
Amhara forces out of Tigray. Amhara forces out of Tigray.
Amhara forces out of Tigray.
Amhara forces out of Tigray lands. No land grabbing. No land grabbing in the name of. No land grabbing. In the name of. In the name of. Policing Tigray. No land grabbing. In the name of policing Tigray. Amhara officials. No land grabbing. Amhara officials. Wright and Raya belong to Tigray. They belong to Tigray since the old times. Since the old times. No land grabbing under cover. Amhara officials, remove your forces from Tigray. You are using Abiy Ahmed Ali. You are using Abiy Ahmed Ali. Amhara officials, remove your forces from Tigray. From Tigray. Remove your forces which you sent under the cover, under the back of the Ethiopian soldiers, of the Eritrean soldiers. Eritrean soldiers out of Tigray. Eritrean soldiers, you are our brothers, but leave Tigray. No bloodshed with our brothers, Eritrea. No bloodshed with our brothers of Amhara. No bloodshed with our brothers of Ethiopia. We want peace. We want peace. No peace can be achieved by bombing Tigray. The people of Tigray, they only asked self-rule. They only asked autonomy. They only asked elections. They should not be bombed for conducting local elections. Tigray should not be bombed for doing local elections. Stop the bombing on Tigray. Stop the land grabbing of Western Tigray. Stop the land grabbing in Southern Tigray. The security heads, through Nahandana, stop your persecution of Tigrayans. Antara the security head of Ethiopia, an Amhara official, stop your persecution of Tigrayans. Stop your persecution of Tigrayans. Tamaskan Ethiopian security head, stop persecuting Tigrayans. Tamaskan from Amhara region, who is heading the Ethiopian security, stop persecuting Tigrayans for land grabbing. No land grabbing in Tigray. We oppose, we condemn land grabbing in Tigray. No land grabbing in Tigray. Stop the bombing of Tigray people. United Arab Emirates. United Arab Emirates. Stop bombing Tigray. United Arab Emirates. Stop bombing with drones the historical people of Tigray. Stop bombing the historical, the ancient people of Tigray, which accepted Christianity for the first time in Africa. Stop bombing Tigray, which accepted Christianity, a historical people in East Africa, a historical people which accepted the messengers of Muhammad in East Africa. Stop Tigray. Stop bombing Tigray. Stop bombing Tigray.
Thank you.
Come on, guys, we can't hear you. Come on.
We are all here today to ask the British government to take a stronger stand. How long will Dominic Raab ignore the severity of the humanitarian crisis? How long will the UK, the US, the EU ignore 50,000 refugees in Sudan? 50,000 refugees in Sudan are being ignored. They're being prosecuted by their own government. They have fled, leaving their homes, their families, watching their families being butchered in front of them. This is a genocide. There is no sweet word. There is nothing to sugarcoat this. This is a genocide. You didn't act during Rwanda. That was too late. We are asking you, in the name of our people, to act before it's too late. Act before it's too late. The UK needs to intervene. The UN needs to intervene. We do not want apologies after our people are dead. We want actions now. We want actions now. We want actions now. We want actions now. The UN needs to intervene. We want action now. The UK must act. The US must act. The EU must act.
1.3 million Tigrayans are internally displaced because of this war waged on the Tigray people by the Ethiopian army led by Abiy Ahmed, by Eritrean army led by dictator Esayas Afeworki, and at the back of them by the Amhara regional militia and special forces. 1.3 million internally displaced people have nowhere to go, and they are in trouble in Tigray. 100,000 Eritrean refugees in Tigray, they have nowhere to go, their food is exhausted. Around 600,000 people who are supposed to receive emergency relief, even during the normal time, they are in a problem and there is no food supply. There are no roads, there is no telecommunications, there is no transport, no internet, no telecom, no telephone, no roads and nothing. It is already over 1 month. Save 1.3 million internally displaced Tigrayans within Tigray itself. And on top of this, we have 600,000 people requiring emergency relief. We have 250,000 people in urban areas affected by HIV, AIDS, and by malnutrition. And we have 100,000 Eritrean refugees who have nowhere to go. So rescue Tigray, help Tigray. We ask the UK government to help us and to rescue us before this genocide moves forward. 50,000 refugees, they have fled for their life to Sudan, and they are testifying about every kind of genocide and crimes against humanity conducted on their family members, which they left murdered. So we ask the UK government, the UN and everyone to act before things are too late. A Rwanda-style genocide is ongoing in Tigray, and we ask the UK government to intervene.
Okay. This war on Tigray will not only tear our families apart, result in the genocide of our people and wipe out our culture, it will also destabilize the whole Horn of Africa. Ethiopia is no longer the beacon of light for Africa, as it has failed to unite its people, let alone keep the civil discourse of the nations that surround it. The UK must recognize that if they keep continuing to ignore this problem, it will only become theirs when an influx of refugees come flooding. They must look at the facts. The UN has predicted 9 million people could be displaced due to this dispute. Tigrayans are fleeing to Sudan, a country where people are already fleeing from their own conflict. Abiy has already shown he is not willing to negotiate peace talks, So the UK must take a strong stand in the immediate stop to this war in Tigray and force Abi's hand to sit down and start talking. The UK must condemn the censorship of information and media and must add pressure to allow journalists and humanitarian organizations to be able to get in and out of Tigray safely, whilst reporting the truth about what's happening. We also demand the UK government to call for an independent international investigation to war crimes within the Tigray region. We are sick and tired of the mistreatment of our people. We don't want to grow up with horror stories, just like our parents did, about our persecution. We, the international community, will not sit and watch as our people, our land and our heritage gets taken away from us. Thank you.
We are old enough to remember the 85, the drought, the bombing of the Derg. And then they sang, don't they know it's Christmas? Christmas is approaching. Like the 84, our people have been bombed by dictators. From generation to generations, dictators come and bomb us. It is time to stop dictatorship. It is time to say no to dictatorship. It is time to say yes to democracy. The Tigrayan people only elected their local election, not the federal government election. They hold only the local government. What it would have been if there was a general election, they would still would have elected their local administrative. They only exercise their democratic rights to govern themselves, but they don't deserve to be bombed for holding their own rights. Stop genocide. Stop killing people, innocent people, children, women, defenseless. It is a genocide on human rights. It is not right for the British government to keep quiet. Sugarcoating it's legal. There is no legal cover. There is no legal cover for killing people. Ethiopia cannot afford to pay its doctors, its teachers, can't build a hospital, can't have a full budget to cover the cost. It borrows and begs for international help, whereas it can afford to kill its own children. It is an irony to kill its own children, begging for budget from the international community. Say no genocide. Say no to dictatorship. Say yes to democracy, self-rule, rule of law. Abiy Ahmed is illegal occupying the premiership office. He's illegal, never been elected. He's only been recommended for transition for only 2 years. He's overstaying the premiership office. He doesn't have any legal cover. He actually decimated the legal cover, the very first legal cover that brought him into power. He doesn't have any legal coverage to stay in the office. He's overstaying in the office of premiership. And then yet, he allowed an invader, a country, a sovereign country, to invade our people, to bomb our people, to kill our people, decimate our infrastructures. How long can the international community keep quiet? They know every single bit of what's going on. They know who fired the first shot. And yet, they kept quiet for legal reasons. Doesn't save any child. Legal reasons doesn't save any child. Action saves a life. Stop the war. Stop the war. Stop the war. Stop using smart bombs. Stop using drones to kill our people. Stop using borrowed bombs to kill our people. Ethiopia can't afford to feed its people. Start feeding our own people. Stop feeding the children. Let Tigray connect. Let the aid go through. People need emergency medicine. Let the humanitarian action go through. Enough is enough.
Hello, my name is Fasika. Hello. Sorry. Hello, my name is Fasika. My message is to.
Excuse me, do you have like that
My
one?
message is to Ethiopians, to non-Tagaro Ethiopians.
I don't know.
So, right now, human rights violations are taking place in Tigray. I'm speaking to the Ethiopian youth and I'm speaking to the Ethiopian diaspora that are not campaigning against this war. This war is an Ethiopian civil war. This war won't just affect Tagaru lives, this war will affect all Ethiopian lives. We'll be dealing with this, our generation will be dealing with this, and our children's generations will be dealing with the fallout. You don't need me to stand here and tell you that there are war crimes and human rights violations taking place in Ethiopia. It's been happening long before now. We want unity in Ethiopia. We want peace in Ethiopia. And when this is going on, when human rights violations are going on, when children are being bombed in schools, when places of worships are being bombed, when dams are being bombed, if other Ethiopians are silent, Ethiopia is not a place of peace. It's all of our collective responsibility to speak out against the atrocities that are being committed in Ethiopia right now. All Tagaru were doing were exercising their civil and political liberties. They were electing their regional leaders. Being anti-war is not political. Stop the war on Tigray. Thank you.
Come on, guys. Look me some up.
Hello? Thank you everyone for coming out to protest, which is all close to our hearts. On November 4th, 2020, Abiy Ahmed declared war on Tigray due to over 2 million Tagaros legally electing Dr. Debretsion to be their leader, which Abiy Ahmed saw as a threat. So far, Abiy has cut off the internet, phone lines and electricity. He's also made sure that all Tagaro bank accounts are frozen. Since then, Tigray has been under attack by combined forces, which are the Ethiopian Army, Amhara militia, Somali Army and the Eritrean troops. They have sent UAE drones in the name of restoring law enforcement for the last 35 days. The Amhara militia, Ethiopian Army, Esayas Army have been fighting, looting and burning Tigray. This is a war about Abiy Ahmed's cover-up in its illegitimate stay in power. It's also to eliminate all possible challenges. The war is about the dictator Esayas Afeworki of Eritrea, revenge on TPLF and the people of Tigray. Esayas' troops have been attacking Tigray's treasure for over a month, which hasn't stopped. The UAE drones have bombed factories, churches, mosques, schools, universities and hospitals, which has also the casualties on people of Tigray. Over 500,000 people in Mekelle are exposed to bombshell and all other cities are occupied. All harvested crops have been destroyed, burnt and bombed by Esayas' troops. Many young girls from the ages of 13 and women are being constantly raped by the foreign and Amhara militias. Over 50,000 refugees have left Tigray. Many are dead or stranded on their way to Sudan. Over 90,000 Eritrean refugees are being forced to return to Eritrea. Tigray was a safe haven to all Ethiopians and is now being destroyed beyond recognition. Abiy Ahmed is currently destroying the Horn of Africa. This is an ethnic cleansing war on Tagaros, as many Ethiopian airline staff have been fired due to their ethnicity. The Amhara and Esayas' agenda is to steal our land and get rid of all Tagaros. Abiy Ahmed and Esayas Afeworki are war criminals and should be brought to justice. We ask that all communications and electricity be restored now. We ask that all foreign army, Ethiopian army, and Amhara militias army to leave Tigray. We ask that they revoke Abiy Ahmed's Nobel Prize. We ask that Tigray does not become genocide. We ask the United Nations to protect the young girls and women and children from being sexually assaulted. One more. Thank you. Oh, I'm not done. We demand that Abiy respects the international humanitarian law. We demand that they allow aid to reach both Tigray and Sudan. We demand that they end the airstrikes. On behalf of all Tagaros, we want to thank the government and the people of Sudan for allowing refuge for the people of Tigray. I want to thank everyone for coming out to protest, and please keep hashtagging and social media to raise awareness. The Stop War on Tigray hashtag. Repeat after me. Awad lahafash. Awad lahafash. Awad lahafash. Thank you very much.
قالنا انت لا زي نسمع دمص وحده له دمصنا خنا سمعنا مسينا مثل النبزي نسمع لنا دو قالنا دو down 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 Abiy down down Abiy down down Esayas down down Esayas Esayas killer Esayas must go Abiy must go Abiy must go down 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 Abiy down down Esayas down down Esayas نحن إرتراويان نحن إرتراويان أوصح حزب تግራይ أو قن وصح حزب تግራይ دولنا لنا نحن إرتراويان نحن إرتراويان أو قن حزب تግራይ أو قن سرايت تግራይ دولنا لنا دولنا لنا كنعواتنا down down Esayas down down Esayas down down Abiy down down Abiy down down Esayas علنا له نزحنا لنا مسلدي كنعواتنا 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 مناسات إرترا مناسات إرترا عب تግራይ تعاقبهم زلوا بهوتس حجي رديت كرهوا اللوم إخواننا إرتراويان أما عسكر تግራይ زلوا بهوتس رديت حجي كرهوا اللوم نحن إرتراويان أب قدن حزب تግራይ لوم يخون صباح دو كلمنا دولنا لنا وصح حزب عوت ورقتنا Abiy ورقتنا Esayas ورقتنا فاششتي كل سحرامنا خلقامنا علنا له خلقامنا حجن صباحا خلقامنا كنعواتنا عاد وصح حزبي يغني لي هانم حيطار ثانك يو
إذا يخلق حراي كما علكم كلهم أحواتنا تقروا ممزحتهم بكي كمون أحواتي أنا داويت بال إريتراوية لومي أجنعكم لكم مثال لهم أبكون جزء أبطعي جزء طعي نجار كتجارب زنبرين زلون نابوتاتنا نايحجن نولوني نحنا إريتراويان ما عرت قارو أب حسامين أبراهوان كاب قدم زنبرين زلونيو لمي زحالفة تاريخنا أستاذ 5 عمت ከም ሰመተን ኩሉ ይፈልጦ ብናይ ትማሊ ንሎሚ ከይተገራኩ ሎሚ ንኤርትራውያንን ንትግራዎትን ዝወርድ ዘሎ መዓት ብሓደ ጎኒ ንጎኒ ስጋይ ስጋኻ ብውዕላት እናገበርና ህዝቢ ትግራይ ንኣብዪ ህዝቢ ኤርትራ ንኢሳያስ ክንጠማጠሞም ኢና እዚ ትምትም እዚ ከም ትግራዎት ከምዚ ክትርኢ ከለኻ እቲ ዝዓበየ ናይ ቃልሲ ዋኒ ከም ምዃኑ መጠን ነቲ ኣብ ውሽጢ ዘሎ ተቓላሳይ ህዝብን ንህዝቢ ከም ህዝብን ነዳዲ ነገር ምውሳኽ እዩ ኩልኻትኩም መንእሰያት ሸጥ መዓንጣ ስኒ ነኺስካ ማዕረ ወይ ድማ ቅድሚቲ ኣብ መድረኽ ዝስዋዕ ዘሎ ኣሕዋትኩም ምስ ትምክቱ ፍትሓዊ ቃልሲ ኩሉ ግዜ ዕውት እሞ ክትዕወቱ ኢኹም ንሕና ከም ኤርትራውያን እውን ክንዕወት ኢና ፍትሕን ሰላምን ዝደሊ ህዝቢ ተዓዋቲ እዩ ዓመፅ ዝደሊ ጥራይ ወዳቒ ምልኪ ዓስቢ ነቓዕ ሰባር ዓርኪ ኢሳያስ ዝኾነ ኣብዪ ኩሎም ምልካውያን እዮም እሞ ኣብ ዘለናሉ እዋን ከም መንፈዓትና ግዜን ቦታን ናይ ምልካውያን ኣይኮነን ምልካውያን ክንስዕሮም ሓቢርና ንቃለስ ውድቀት ንመላእኽቲ ውልቀት ንመላእኽቲ ውልቀት ንመላእኽቲ ውልቀት ንኢሳያስን ኣብን ውልቀት ንኢሳያስን ኣብን ህዝቢ ቃልሲ ህዝቢ ተዓወታ እዩ ቃልሲ ህዝቢ ተዓወታ እዩ ህዝቢ ትግራይ ኣይፀንትን እዩ ኣጆኹም ብሓባር ክንሰግሮ ኢና ዓወትና ዓፋሽ የቐንዲልና ክብሪ ሃበለ
Down, down, down!
Down, down, Abiy!
Down, down, down!
Down, down, Abiy!
Down, Abiy!
Down, Abiy!
Down, down, down!
Down, down, Abiy!
Down, Abiy!
Down, Abiy!
Abiy is a dictator!
Abiy is a dictator!
Esayas is a dictator! Stop genocide! Stop genocide on Tigray!
Stop genocide on Tigray!
Stop genocide on Tigray!
Stop genocide on Tigray!
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? We want justice!
We want justice!
We want justice!
We want justice!
What do you want?
Peace!
What do you want?
Peace!
When do you want it? When do you want it? When do you want it? UAE! Stop bombing Tigray! Stop bombing Tigray! The day will go by! The day will go by! The day will just go by! GAA! Stop bombing Tigray!
Stop bombing Tigray!
Stop bombing Tigray!
Stop bombing Tigray!
Free Tigray prisoners!
Free Tigray prisoners!
Free Tigray prisoners!
Free Tigray prisoners!
Abiy Ahmed!
Abiy Ahmed!
Abiy Ahmed!
Abiy
Abiy
Ahmed!
Ahmed!
Abiy Ahmed!
He's not a prime minister! He's not prime minister! Abiy Ahmed! Abiy Ahmed is not elected! But it is elected! It is elected! Not elected! Not elected! Not a minor! Not a minor! I don't feel Ethiopian anymore! I don't feel Ethiopian anymore! Did you? Did you? I don't feel Ethiopian anymore! I'm Tigray! And I'm proud of Tigray! I don't feel Ethiopian anymore! I don't feel Ethiopian anymore! Did you? Did you? Did you? I don't feel Ethiopian anymore! I'm for Tigray! I feel proud of Tigray! I'm a proud of Tigray! The Eritreans are brothers! Tigrayans and Eritreans our brothers, today, tomorrow, forever, forever. You can't break us. You can't break us. You can't break us. Free Tigray prisoners. Free Tigray prisoners. What do we want? What do we want? We want independent Tigray. We want independent Tigray. Thank you very much, guys. Keep it up. We're gonna win. Thanks a lot.
أنا حنساب كلنا هنا أبغى زين دي وجو بنبلنا زين دي وجو بنبل بانديرا هم نلعب كبار رسول لهم شو هم البانديرا هم تعالوا